Om Sadashivasamārambhām Vyasa Shankara Madhyamām Asmadacharya Paryantam Pande Guru Paramparam Shrutismriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhasha Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. So we are discussing chapter 15. It is called Purushottama Yoga. So Purusha Uttamaha or Uttama Purusha. So here the Bhagavan summarizes, or in a very, very small 18-19 slokas, he brings all the teachings so far in a nutshell before he begins to go to some other topic. So chapter 15 is supposed to be one of the most essential chapters, and it is often chanted by the sadhakas before food. So in the Arshavidya Parampara or Gurukulam, whenever you go to any of the Arshavidya centers or any of the tradition where they follow Advaitic philosophy, they chant this mantra before the food is eaten, or when you sit on the table, when they give you a plate or the vada elai, whatever you give there. At that time, when the food is being served or when the food is about to be coming, you're supposed to be the chant this mantra. And after the conclusion of the mantra only, all of them start eating the food. So it is a very important verse, very important chapter, and one should memorize it. So I would always recommend that if you don't memorize other verses, you memorize at least chapter 15. In fact, I think in the rhythm class, I already taught chapter 15. I think Dr. Arvind also was there in the class, if I'm not mistaken. Or I'm not sure. So, but it's very important that you learn this by heart. So we'll go through the first mantra, and then I already taught the first one last class. Second one we'll just go through, and then we'll follow this. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhamoolamadash-shakam Ashvattam Prahuravnyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedhavit Atashodham Prasuta Tasya Shakaha Gunapraburdha Vishaya Prabalaha Adascha Mulani Anusantatani Karmanubandhini Manushya Loke. So, in the first sloka, he introduces the samsara, the samsaram, how it is. The Urdha Moolam Atashakam. So the branches of the tree are, you are actually supposed to visualize a tree which is inverted. So the inverted tree, the roots are up somewhere. The Vedas, the roots are up somewhere. You do not know where it is there. And the branches are supposed to be coming down, because the branches always are on the earth, below the Paramatma. So the branches are supposed to be the shaka. They're supposed to be the human beings, the species, animals, plants, trees, etc. Right? And in the second sloka, he starts to explain the details of each of them. Right? So adaha. So adaha means down, and urdhva. Adascha urdhvam. So the branches are up and down. So the branches always doesn't come down. Some are going up, some are going down, some are going across. So adascha urdhvam. Then prasutta. So here the word prasutta here. They are spread out. So prasutta means that the branches are not, they are spread everywhere. Right. So it's a big tree which is being visualized, and the branches are up, going down, and they are spread everywhere. Very, very long branches spread everywhere. So tasya shakaha. So shaka means the branch. So shaka. So tasya, those, that's what indicates by the word adaha cha urdhvam. Adaha means down and cha means and, urdhvam means up. Prasuta means spread out. And what is spread out? Tasya shakaha. So this shaka or the branch which is there is spread everywhere. And what are this? What is it that is actually extending up and down? They are supported by guna. So gunaha means what? All sattva guna, rajo guna, tama guna. So guna pravruddha. So that which is nourished. So pravruddhi means that which is nourished. So nourished by guna. So guna pravruddha. And what does the vishaya, what does the guna do? Vishaya. Correct? So vishaya means the object of knowledge. So sattvic guna reveals an object of knowledge. Rajo guna reveals an object of knowledge. Tamo guna reveals an object of knowledge. So all of the three reveal an object of knowledge. That's why it's called vishaya. Correct? So vishaya. And pravalaha is the word of pravala. So pravala means what? In the branch, you see, there are sometimes small shoots coming up, small branches. They will start to come up. So the branch is always not steady. There will be some intermittent things will come in between. Right? So it's called pravalaha. So vishaya, what does it do? It gives rise to budding desire. Correct? So objects, what does it do? It actually gives rise to budding desire. So it's called pravala here, talks about the buds. So the desires which create another desire or instigate another desire, or they form like a bud. So it's a very nascent stage. So one desire will lead to other one. So if you have a very good holiday or you went for a good, nice food, etc., you tend to feel that something small will happen. Maybe you should do it every month. So once a year you go, or once 3 months you have a good, nice food. And then what do? You say that you would like to have once in 3 months. Then once in 3 months you start enjoying. Then you say once in 2 months. At least monthly udara pola. It will be good to have this. So already when the desire is already being enjoyed, another desire is being already starting to crop up. Correct? We already know. Correct? So one desire leads to another small desire. That's what we call pravala. So vishaya, what does it do? Vishaya will always give rise to another small desire, buds called pravala. So vishaya pravala. Correct? Then, and adascha. Adaha means what? Below. Correct? So below, all wherever you see them, they are what? Manushya loke. Correct? So manushya lokaha. And what is manushya loka? Mulani. So the people, the roots, the branches which are spreading below the fruits, etc., they are all supposed to be the root, the manushya, a manushya lokam. So manushya lokam means prithvi, bhulokam. And one second. Huh? Can you make less noise, please? Hello? Can you make less noise, or you can go out and talk? Vishaya pravala. Some dog is walking out there, you're interested in the dog. So Vishaya pravala. So Manushya Lokaha means what? The people who are Manushya Lokam. So the people who are in the Bhulokam, they are governed by this Vishaya. And what does the Vishaya do? They actually give rise to another desire, small desire. And the desire is governed by what? By the gunas. Right? So we already know. Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tama guna. These three gunas give rise to different types of objective desires, right? And they are up and down all the time. So there's not once, it is not consistently. Some desires are very high, some are very low, some are spread long desires. Correct. And they are anusantatani. So they are deep rooted and spread out. It is something which is very, very inherent and deep rooted. It's very difficult to uproot a deep root. Uprooting a deep root is difficult, correct? So deep rooted means anusantatani, because they are so much engrossed in the Vishayam, engrossed in the small desires and the gunas which rise to desires, and they are in the Manusya Loka. And karmanu bandini. So what do they do? These desires will give rise to doing karmas. Right? So gunas instigate you to follow a desire. Desire will make you do karma, and karma will bind you. Karmanu bandini. So bandaha means what? Bind. So karmas will bind. So binding means what? You start to becoming part of that. So binding means nobody is physically binding you. See, nobody is physically, it's just an emotional binding. See, if you want to go to a good movie, you go there out of your choice. You enjoy the movie, your choice. Then you bookmark it, or saying that this movie is always this person is a good actor, I have to watch this. Also your choice. So what does it do? Once, see, even our YouTube also, see, if you see this YouTube also, same thing, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of these things which are there. If you watch one video, it will recommend, I think last time you watched, why don't you watch this? It will himself prompt, correct? So because they have built this analogy, the engine into this YouTube engine itself, where if you click on a particular video, it will prompt you to say that this also is a good video, why don't you watch this? So you click on that video, and that video will take you to another video. So they are all connected. Eventually what will happen is the engine keeps track of what all you are doing, and it will keep prompting up variously different types of video of the same content. It's called content management. So content management is what people do. So the whole idea is what is to manage the content. Correct? So you have to give information about, or you have to bring them content which is required, which makes you subscribe to the particular feed. And when you subscribe to the particular feed, you get the bandwidth, you get the data charge, etc. This is all typical IT stuff, but same thing. I think Gopalji will know more about all these things. Same concept also is applicable in real life also, where one Vishayam will actually say, see, last time we went there, why don't you do this again? This time we'll include more. The holiday becomes now bigger, more frequent, So that's what it says here, Vishaya Pravada. And because it is Adascha Mula Anusantatani, it is diffused and spread everywhere, it makes you do what? Karma. And karmanu bandini Manusya Loka. So the Manusya people here are all bound by karma. Right? So unfavorable or favorable karmas are waiting for you, and you get bound. Right? That's what it says here. What are these raga dveshas, likes and dislikes? Right? So gunas are always will give you likes and dislikes. Satvikam guna means also is a raga desha, correct? It's also like and dislike sometimes. So all of these gunas will give you those two types of desire, ragam and dvesha, and they will prompt you to take up a particular desire and follow a desire, and it will give rise to another form of desire called Vishaya Pravala, okay? And that's what makes us bound in this karma, in Manusya Loka. Karmanu bandini Manusya Loka. So we keep doing karma after karma, karma after karma. We just keep doing the same thing again and again without coming out, or we don't know how to come out. Correct? That's what it says here. But how do you cut this tree? So now he talks about, Okay, we all understand that we are all stuck people, and how can you cut this tree? Or this samsara tree talks about how do you get free from this. So he talks about this verse in 3 and 4. He talks about this particular. So he talks about nature of the samsara and how to cut it. Okay, how to uproot this. Na rupam asyeha, na rupam asyeha tato balabhyate, na rupam asyeha tato palabhyate, nanto na chadi na cha sampratishta, nanto na chadi na cha sampratishta, na rupam asyeha tato palabhyate, nanto na chadi na cha sampratishta, ashvattamenam suvirudhamulam, ashvattamenam suvirudhamulam, asangashastrena dridhena chitva, asangashastrena dridhena chitva, na rupamasyeha tato palabhyate, nanto na chadi na cha sampratishta, ashvattamenam suvirudhamulam, asangashastrena dridhena chitva. So this rupam asye naha. See, na rupam asti iha means what? This is not form. Okay. So its form is not known to you, it's not perceived. Okay? So the form is not perceived, and na upalabhyate means what? It is not available for perception, available for anything. So moksham is talks about here. So this particular thing is not available for perception nor for achieving. Upalabdhi means availability. So it is always available. It is not something to be saying that is it available or not. It's always available. So now then na antaha. So na antaha means it has got no end.
Sir, sorry, please repeat it again.
See, the mantra or the meaning?
Just the meaning, sir.
Okay. See, na rupam asti iha. See, na rupam. Rupa means form, correct? And na means negation, correct? So, here in this universe, this is not perceived because samsara is something you cannot perceive. You are enjoying it. It is something somebody says, I want to see samsara. You cannot show samsara to the person. So it is not perceived. Na rupam asti iha. Then na upalabhyate means it is also not perceived. So form, because there is no form, it cannot be perceived also. So only if there is a form you can perceive it. So na rupam asyeha na upalabhyate, because there is no form and it is not perceivable. Then na antaha. See, nanto na antaha. So nanto should be broken as na antaha. So there is no end. Correct? And cha adi. So cha dirna. So cha adi means what? Cha means end. Okay. So there is no end and there is no beginning. Adi means beginning. Okay. Hope you are able to get it right. So the word cha indicates end. Na anto should be broken as na antaha. There is no end. Cha na adi. So there is no beginning also. Then cha again and sampratishta, no continuance. Correct? So this form of the tree is not known. That's what it says here. The form of the tree is not known. Even though we can describe it with names and everything else, in reality there is no tree at all. Because there is no form, it is na upalabhyate and na Adi na antam. Andam, andamum illai, adi illai. So there's no beginning and there's no end. Then cha sampratishta. So there's no continuance. So one cannot say that samsara one day one day it will end. So there is no continuance. It has got no beginning, no end, but it has got no continuance also. How do you, because of this particular problem, when it is, when you get stuck into this kind of situation, how do you come out of it? So he says here, Ashwattham enam. So this Ashwatha tree, enam means this one, Suviruda Moolam. So Moolam means the roots. See, the roots are well entrenched. That means all these things which are deeply rooted somewhere, it's already gone there. So it is somewhere inside our system is deep rooted. We do not know how to take it out. So it's called flushing. So I remember somebody saying something, some course is there. Somebody paid $5,000 to do this course. It's called some inner engineering, something like this. So what they do is they flush out what is inside. So flushing out means what? You have to deal with your thoughts, correct? Same thing is said here. So Suviruda Moolam. So Moolam means Suviruda means what? It is spread, entrenched deeply. Moolam, the roots are the spread across very, very deeply. How do you cut it? See, a tree you can cut with an axe. You can get the hacksaw blade, or you got a lot of tools there available. You can cut the tree. You can cut the branches. You can make it completely. Everything can do. You can also poison the tree also, and it will not come at all. Also, but how do you do something which is internal to you? Correct. Here the tree is an analogy. The tree is actually analogy of samsara. Right? So samsarathla, if you got deep-rooted desire, and the desires are spread out so far and wide, and which has got no beginning, no end, and that which cannot be seen and perceived. So can you see a desire? You cannot see a desire. You can only enjoy the desire. Correct? You know the desire is coming to you, and the desire has got no form. Form means what? The desire itself, thought doesn't have a form. But a thought gives rise to an object which becomes a form. Correct? A thought rising is something which you cannot see. You can only perceive, you can only understand this thought there, desire. But the desire itself, when it actually becomes an object of knowledge, then the object actually has a form. Hope you're able to follow, right? The thought itself doesn't have a form, correct? Can you say thought, it's a car thought. You can describe, you can thought you can do because, but can you describe the car thought? Will be like a hatchback or sedan? You can't describe, right? Because it is something you only visualize. But when the same thought, the materializes in the form of an object which you actually Vishaya Pravala. So when you buy the item, then you say, yes, the desire which I had is what is there. Correct? That's why he says here, na rupam asti ha. Na rupam asti ha. Na upalabhyate, na antaha, na adihi, na sampratishta. So if we have such a like this, and Ashwattamenam Suviruda Moolam. So this Ashwatha tree or the desire is deep rooted in me, well entrenched in me. And how do you cut it? Asangaha. So you have to cut this by Asangaha. Asanga means what? Sangam means associations. And Asangaha means what? By disassociating yourself. How do we disassociate, sir? It is not possible at all. That's a difficult question. This is the whole topic is all about disassociating yourself. The more you get associated, the more you are deep rooted. Correct? Suviruda Moolam. But he says that there is no other way of coming out of this other than understanding what is Asanga. That is called being free from attachment. See, doing a duty is different from getting attachment. This is something which I keep telling all the time. See, doing duty is what? Somebody needs some help and they are expecting you to do, you do your duty. But what do? You like to, you feel comfortable when somebody is close to you. கஷ்டப்பட்டு இருக்கா பாவம் தனியா நம்ம கூட சேர்த்து வச்சுக்கலாமே அப்படின்னு தோணும். You given your example, class example give you is somebody, like you get married to, you know, have a marriage, you get married, somebody is getting married, you set them up separately, and then later on you feel very bored because you feel suddenly this whole life person has been there in your whole life. And I think there's a movie which I was watching. Kandasamy is wedding something. You see that in Netflix. So there also that lady is very attached. He doesn't want his son to go away. And she will do everything possible, failing heart attack or, failing sickness to keep the son. Eventually the son goes because there's no point in keeping him. So what means some people feel comfortable. See, I mean, it's very good to have people next door. So what do? You build a house next to your house. Then you situate them next door. So you can just go next door, have a look at them, talk to them, and they also feel comfortable. By doing this, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get more into this associating aspect. You get more associated and it will become more difficult for you to entangle later on. So one must actually, the first opportunity itself when it's ready, when you think they are all okay, settle down, disassociate. Very difficult thing to do. How can it be possible? It's not possible. They need our help. They need our society support. Indirectly, what you are looking is the happiness you are seeking is in their happiness. Your happiness is hinging on other people's happiness. Correct? That is what he's saying here. That this is why it is never ending. Na antaha na adi, and difficult to perceive. Suviruda moolam. It's very difficult. So how do you cut Asanga Shastraha? Shastra means what? The instrument. So Shastram here, you can only cut this the only way of cutting the samsara is by disassociating yourself or asangaha, practicing asangaha. Means you must slowly withdraw from all these activities. It is an example. I'm not saying that you should do this. Any activity which you think is binding you, you analyze it and you try to come out of it. Slowly. That means you give charge. See, you delegate the work, you be a distant sakshima support. Don't be in the forefront and do all these things and because that will make you more, more vulnerable. And for that, what do you need? Dridaha. Correct? So drida means what? Very, very firm. You have to be very firm. It is not for weak-hearted people. People who are weak-hearted or emotionally, very weak, unstable, for such a person, it is very, very difficult. So, dridena chitva. Chit means what? This cutting. Chit means chatva cutting. So, you have to cut this samsara tree by developing asangaha. And it's a shastram. Right? So shastram, you can cut the tree with anything else shastram you want. But this, you cannot cut it just like that. You have to become disassociated. Or developing vairagya. Dispassionate is the right word. Dispassionate is the right word. So understanding what is duty, understanding what is attachment, differentiating between the two, and then slowly being non-attached. Over a period of time, it is not, see, Shastram doesn't expect you to overnight become jnanis. Because we are all humans, and humans, we are got emotions. whatever may be the situation, whether it is friends, whether it is, husband, wife, children, whoever it is, we still have a duty to do. And we always have the welfare in mind. Sometimes the welfare in mind becomes a care initially, right? And care sometimes becomes over-caring. Over-caring will become attachment. You do not know when you are crossing which level. That is why it is saying what? Narupam asyaha. So there is no form, you cannot see this. You are slowly guiding from one step to another step without yourself knowing. Suddenly you will find a situation where you cannot come out of it. Oh my God, what have I done? I come very far now. I cannot, it is very difficult for him to come out now. I have gone too far now. So let me continue with this. So the person continues. The more you continue, the more you are in trouble. Correct? That's what it says here. There's only one way. And you have to have a very firm decision. You have to make a very firm decision, firm mind that I am going to practice this philosophy of slowly withdrawing my senses from all the worldly activities one by one, and I'm just going to be by myself, asangaha. So if you are following the practice, it is easy to follow this. Correct? What we are able to follow, right? See, it's a tough message, very, very difficult message. But Bhagavan says this is the only way of coming out. There's no other way. Na pranyapanta vidyate naya. There's no other method. Naropamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto na chadi na cha sampratishta ashvattamenam suvirudha moolam asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. Is this clear? Then, number 4. Tataf padam tat parimargitavyam. Tataf padam tat parimargitavyam. Yasmin gathana nivartanti bhuyaha. Yasmin gathana nivartanti bhuyaha. Tataf padam tat parimargitavyam. Yasmin gathana nivartanti bhuyaha tameva chadhyam purusham prapadhye tameva chadhyam purusham prapadhye yatah pravrittif prasuta purani yatah pravrittif prasuta purani tatah padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gathana nivartanti bhuyaha tameva chadhyam purusham prapadhye yatah pravrittif prasuta purani. So tataha, after that. So now what? After that, padam, tataf padam, means that padam or that from which you're gone, right? Tat padam, or the end. You can say padam means when you reach the end, tat parimargitavyam, right? So this is what, see, parimargitavyam means what? This has to be inquired. So after you have come to the end, you have to inquire into this. So Atma Vichara, self-inquiry. So you have to keep on self-inquiring into this. Once you cut a tree, then you cannot say that it's possible you'll again go back. Right? Old habits will die hard. So you have to develop, sometimes we again go back. So you have to keep inquiring, Atma Vichara, again and again inquire. Am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right path? Checking the progress of where you are, right? So Yasmin Gata. So Yasmin, into which, Gatha means those have gone. So the way to explain this one is, see, Yasmin Gata means what? This is actually talking about the person who has become detached, the person who developed Vairagyam and who has come out, correct? So when you come out, you left the worldly pleasures, you left the worldly activities. Slowly, you are still involved. It's not that you are not totally cut off, because you are in the world still, and you still have to perform some activities, but you are not that fully engrossed. You do not have commitments. Whole calendar is not fully busy. Some people have the whole calendar, whole Varshampura calendar is busy. I got to this program, that program, this order, wedding, Punal, then Simandam, this one, temple visit, Dhanam, donation. Whole year they got programs. Then I have to spend 6 months here, 6 months there. This activity here, with Anadana Padmanam, so many things are there. So they're busy. One has to come out from all these things. For your mind to be steady, one has to slowly withdraw from all these activities and reduce it. He's not saying that you don't completely stop doing it from tomorrow. Prioritize what is important for you. Then you slowly withdraw your mind from those activities which is taking a lot of time for you, distracting for you. You remove those activities. So once you do that, when you come out, right, when you come out, after that, tata yataha, from whom this yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha. So once you have come out of this particular thing, then there is no question of going back. See, the Bhagavan says that once you have developed a vairagyam, correct? Once you have developed a vairagyam and the required qualification, it is difficult for you to go back again and do the same thing, because you are no longer taste. And if you are doing Atma Vicharam regularly, studying, etc., it is difficult for you to really go and do the same thing again and again. Right? That's what it says, Yasmin Gatha na nivartanti bhuyaha. So they do not return. So na bhuyaha means, bhuya means again. So they do not return again. They do not go back and come, again go back to the same life again. They only progress further. So tameva chadhyam. So unto that person, correct? Purusham. So unto that person I surrender. Prapadyam means what? Worship. Right? So unto that person I surrender. Yatah pravritti prasutta purani. So Purani means very old. Purani means very old. So that is the source of everything. And Yatah pravritti. Pravritti means that which has come into, that creation talks about. So pravritti is that which has come from creation, that which has been, and again goes back into the same from where it has come from. So unto that person, unto that Bhagavan, unto that Lord, I am surrendering myself, is what it is mentioned here. So the person, what does he do? After coming out of samsara, he has got reverence for Shastra. He has got reverence for the Bhagavan in the form of the Vedas. So he says that, thank God I come out of this. And now, because he is already thanking the Bhagavan that you opened my eyes, and now I am a better person, I do not have any of these dependencies. Right? I do not have to go to a particular place. Imagine that if you are a busy person, imagine your calendar is fully clocked. 8:30 sharp you have to go. For 8:45 class mudila enchunga, supposing. 9 manik pochu enchunga. Pochu. 9 manik class, if it goes by 15 minutes more, time is watching. Correct? So always, you have got something or the other. So programs are already lined up like this. You do not have any time even for anything. Flexibility. You will be free from all these things. Then you'll have time only time. If you don't go out at all, right? Supposing if you don't go out, you only study Shastram, do class, or you attend class. besides doing your normal activities, which is sleeping, and doing your daily activities, which is, nature activity which you are doing, other than that, what else is there? So you got plenty of time, more time, plenty of time. That's what it says here, that it will give you that freedom, it will give you that open, that flexibility, and you will be free person. So unto the Bhagavan, tameva chadyam purusham. So that purusha, tameva adyam cha adyam, unto the purusha who is the beginning, prapadhye, I am worshipping, I am surrendering myself. Yatah pravritti prasuddha purani. So pravritti marga means creation. Pravritti means creation, and Purani is a very old person, very old also. So what it takes about is thankfulness. It's actually thanking the Bhagavan after you have come out of samsara. So detachment is the axe to fell this tree, correct? It must be very strong. And this axe, when they say Asanga Shastraha, how do you do this? So Asanga Shastram, I'm talking about the previous one also, you have to sharpen this Vivekam. See, in the axe, you can sharpen with some sharpening tool, right? But this sharpening of this Asanga has to be done with Vivekam. That is the intellect. And Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. Second thing is Purushartha Nishya must be there. So without Purushartha Nishchayam, without Viveka, one cannot develop Asanga. It's not possible. Hope you're getting right. Without Purushartha Nishchaya and without Vivekam, Asanga is not possible. Right? That's what it says here. The inquiry should be done. Right? So Parimargi Tavyam, when I say this inquiry should be done for the purpose of not coming back. Correct? So the inquiry should be done for not coming back. That means you do not want to go back to this life again. You want to progress in this other path which is you have chosen. So you may not become a sannyasi or you may not sannyasini. It doesn't have to. You don't have to. But you will progress this path systematically, consistently, and you will develop a distaste automatically for this. You do not need to do anything great about it. Automatically, manasu like that. Slowly you will see, oh, I think I'm okay. I don't want to. I can skip this. Other people are going for the party. You will say, no, I'm okay. I can be alone. Romba pressure you just go once. And you come very shortly. You just come back. Don't spend too much time there. Half an hour, 40 minutes, you just come back. So the people also, what they will do, they will try to understand you. Oh, this person is actually, he's taken a different path now. So, see, this path is not suitable for me. See, you do not need anything at all. If you become steadfast to study, right? The person is watching you, your friends are watching you. See, our religious class Bhagavad Gita class, he's attending all sorts of class, Upanishad class. So they themselves will not tell you. They themselves they'll cut themselves off automatically. So Shastram helps you do that. It develops you to get yourself slowly disconnected. And you must see this, inquire this, and get hold of this. And you be in a state. That's what it says here. This is the only way of freeing from samsara. There's no other way. So it should be very firm. Dridena chitva asanga shastrena. So asanga is the instrument. By non-attachment or getting free from all these things is the only way of getting freedom. Then he talks about the adhikari or the person who is eligible to be free from samsara. Adhikari. So how he has talked about the samsara tree. He talks about how the samsara tree is very far and wide and far-reaching, and how this tree is binding people to karmas and how they are eternally bound in samsara. Karmanu bandhini manusya loke. And this narupa masyeha tato upalabhyate na antaha na adi na sampratishta ashwattamenam suviruda moolam asanga shastrena dhridan chitva. Right. So this has to be tatah padam tat parimargitavyam. So this parimargitavyam means what? Self-inquiry has to be made. Correct? Yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyaha. So the one who has understood this, he is not going to come back. Na nivartanti bhuyaha. You do not want to come back. You don't want to go back again, attachment again. Right? So once you have tasted that particular, lifestyle or enjoyment, you want to be like that. Why do you want to go back to the same old lifestyle again? So unto the tameva chadyam purusham prapadhye. So unto that Bhagavan, unto that Shastram, my surrender, my complete prapadhye, yatah pravritti prasuta purani. So which is the source of the creation, and also the Purani means what? Very medieval or the primeval or very old. So unto that my surrender complete. So this is the thankfulness which the person is giving for getting him out of this. Now he tells who is the person eligible for this. Not everybody can get this. Who is the person? He says here. Number 5. Nirmana moha jitasanga doshaha. Nirmana moha jitasanga doshaha. Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha. Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha. Nirmana moha jitasanga doshaha. Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha. Dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sanyaihi. Dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sanyaihi. Gacchanta mooda padavavyayam tat. Gacchanta mooda padavavyayam tat. Nirmana moha jitasanga doshaha. Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha. Dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sanyaihi. Gacchanta mooda padamavyayam tat. So first qualification, nirmana moha. So the one who is, see, moham means what? The one who is free from respect. Moham means what? You have attachment. So the one who is free from nirmana moham. The one who is free from the demand for respect. So let's say you have to respect me. So manam and moham. So manam means what? Respect, right? So he's not giving respect to me. So when you go to some places, they expect you to be respected. At least you are given importance. Correct. If you're not giving importance, what they will say? So you want to be recognized, you want to be praised. And if nobody says anything to you, you will get dejected. Correct. So this is called manam. But you should be nirmanam. The one who is free from this kind of desire for respect. And moham means the one who is free from desires also. Like, he's not very interested in this kind of things to pursue this manam. So what do you do if you don't get respect? You want to be respected. So you do things to make you prominent. So you want to make other person happy, so you do convert yourself to make the other person happy. Complete the opposite. Yeah? What do? You have to make yourself happy, so you forget other people. That's not important for you. By making an effort to make other person happy, you yourself actually falling straight into that trap. Because other person will say, I'm still not happy. What will happen? So what will I do to make you happy? You keep trying. You do this. I think I expected more from you. Then it becomes difficult. It's an endless trap. So it says nirmana moha. Correct? The one who is free from false values to things. Moha means what? False values to things. Correct? So nirmana moha. Then jita sanga doshaha. So see, dosha means what? Defect. Correct? And sangha means dosham which has you acquired due to sangha. So due to some defects, due to some association with the past things, you have definitely acquired some doshas. And jitaha means the one who has conquered that. So you would have had some doshas before, due to some association before. But now you have realized those things are your mistakes. And you have now conquered those things. You do not repeat those things again. You do not, in fact, go back to the same old lifestyle again. So jita sanga doshaha. So jita means a conquered. There's battle to be fought. There's a war to be won. Okay? So those who master this, it's called jitan. So jitaha. Jitaha means jit means victory. So jitan means what? The one who conquers. So jita, what does it do? Sangha doshaha. So dosham which is acquired or defect is acquired by sangaha, by attachment. See, we all have some dosha or the other because we do karmas, we do associate with so many things. So there's always going to be something or the other. Something will be there, so we're stuck onto that. You cannot say that I'm free. Dosha, everyone. Not dosa. Dosham. So not dosa. Dosham means what? Defect. So every person has got something or the other. So what we should do is to come out of it. Correct? And how do we do is by becoming nirmana moha. So one of the examples given is what? Understanding what is sangam and the problems which comes with that and try to conquer it. You have to win it. You must not become a slave to that. See, sangha dosha means defect. But if you become a slave to that, you will never be able to conquer it. But you have to win it. So jita sangha doshaha. So one of the qualities is nirmana moha, jita sangha doshaha. Correct. Then next one he talks about is adhyatma nityaha. See, adhyatma means what? The one who is focused. Adhyatmam means the one who is always focused. And nityaha, adhyatma nityaha means what? Nitya means daily, always. So it is not nitya means not sometimes. Sporadically you don't do this. You have to be always be doing this. So adhyatma nitya. See, these are qualities to be developed. How do we do? How is it possible, sir? Yes, it is possible. How is it possible? Just as we are involved in Lokika activity every day, how it is possible? It is possible because you are there with Adhyatma Nitya. You are focusing on that object there. Same way when you can focus on other objects of desire, always there, same thing is possible also on internal also, this desire also. So Adhyatma Nitya. Then Vini Vritta Kamaha. So Vritta means the thoughts. So Vini Vrittaha means what? The one who is Kama means desire. The one from whom desires have sort of, left. Not desire, left means you can say that he is no longer interested. He's not giving priority to desires. Interest. So Vinivritta Kamaha, the one who has mastered the desires, the one who has kept desires in control, and he or she only entertains only when required. And it is required only as long as it doesn't bind him or her. So those, it's called mastery. So vinivritta kamaha. So qualities, correct? So nirmana moha, jidasanga dosha, adhyatma nitya, vinivritta kama. So 4 things are required for a person who wants to be free from samsara. Okay. Not applicable for a person who wants to be samsara. For such a person, you don't need to do anything. You can just be as what we want to do that. Manam pokla poru. Kal pona pokla poru, manam pokla poru. So, see, Tamil sometimes comes because Tamil class Tamil and people are all Tamil only here. I'm free to talk in Tamil. Then, dvandvai. See, dvandvai removed. Dvandaha means what? Pair of opposites. Likes and dislikes. Raga dveshas. So, dvandaha, vimuktaha, the one who is free from these desires. I don't like this. I like this. See, if you go to some place also, see, even though we are all jnanis, right? Supposing, I give an example in other class, that there are 4 jnanis who are there. They're all sannyasis are there. So one is South Indian sannyasi is there. Okay. One is from South India. He has become sannyasi. He is there. One guy from North India comes. He's a Punjabi sannyasi. He's also sannyasa. He's not studied also. He also comes there. Another guy comes from Kerala and he comes there. So all the sannyasis have a meet. They come to one place and there's a food being served there. And the bhiksha, they're going for bhiksha there. And the person who is giving bhiksha announces, South Indian is there, North Indian is not, this also food is there. So according to Shastram, the jnani should not have any difference towards anything. See, the food should not be the priority for the person, correct? The food should not be, the taste should not be, but what will do? The sannyas, South Indian sannyasi will go to idli only, correct? Whether you like it or not, you will not go to chapati and paneer. Even if you offer him chapati and paneer, what will he say? I think I'm okay. Because he's okay means what? He doesn't want. Because something else is available. So there's a preference always, even vice person also, this is available. A North Indian guy will always go for chapati and paneer only. He will not go for dosa. Because he will always look for it. Right? See, first of all, what do you do there? See, Tamil, or anything you go, what do you do? What food you are serving? So the food is not complete without having thai sadam because your eyes are looking for that. They know. So that is what it is. Kantede ullam nadude. Paya paattu. Kantedude yendan ullam nadude. So you see, and then your mind, your heart also goes there. So he says, Dvandve Rumuktaha. The person doesn't really matter. Bhiksha, whatever comes there. Chapati kundu kurta kudu paravala. Bring idli is fine. I do not have any preference over anything. Because food is food. But what it says here is that everybody, even that level also, they have likes and dislikes. So, Dvandve Vimuktaha means the person is free from all these opposites. Correct? And what is the Dvandaha? Sukham, Dukkham. Correct? Sukham, Dukkham. And Sanyahi, the one who is free from Sukham and Dukkham, and the suffering which goes with that. So Sanyahi means suffering. So Sukham also there is suffering. Because in Sukham you suffer. You feel suffering, right? And if you don't eat food also you suffer. Dukkham. If you don't get food or something else. Why food? Because why are you talking food? Because Annad Bhutani Jayante. Without food, our whole body is made of food only. We come from food, we grow from food, we continue to become food, we ultimately become food only. So food is very important. Shastram, food is very important. Food is negligent. That's why it says here, Annam na nindhyat. See, in Taittiriya Upanishad, Annam na nindhyat tat pradham apova annam jyotirannadham. So Annam na nindhyat means what? Ninda should not be done for the food. You must never criticize food. What is this food you're serving? Food is annam. You cannot criticize food. You may not like particular thing, it is okay. You can say, I'm okay. But you must not say what food are you serving. The food because that develops that raga desha. See, the sukha dukkham or this dvandva vimukta, you should be able to adjust to the situation. Sometimes there will be salt irukadu, karam irukadu, puli irukadu. How will you do? If your taste gets developed to that kind of lifestyle, then you will keep looking for that particular taste, correct? Even if it is not there, you should be able to overcome that. How it is possible? It is possible. It is possible because when that becomes a secondary thing for you, when annam becomes a priority thing for you, then taste becomes priority. And annam becomes secondary for you because it is required only for keeping your body fit and active, then it becomes secondary to you. Then you don't pay attention to these kind of things. This is one of the qualities of developed, very important. That's why dvandvaya vimuktaha, sukha dukkha sanyaihi, and gacchanta amudaha. So amudaha means what? Mudaha means the people deluded. And amuda means the person who is not deluded. So amudaha, gacchanta amudaha, padam avyayam tath, means they reach that particular abode. Padam means padyate anena iti padam, means that which takes you to the padam param. Correct? So padam, avyayam, that which is imperishable, tat, that. So that is tat. Padam is you go there. And what is that tat? Avyayam, imperishable. So you become the imperishable Brahman, you become the imperishable Atma, or you become that imperishable, you go to the place where you don't come back again. And nivartanti bhuyaha. So what are the qualities? The adhikaritvam is being talked about here. The adhikari means the qualification required by the student or by the sadhaka is being given here. Nirmana moha jitasanga doshaha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sanyaihi, and who is gachan amudaha. So he is not deluded person. He is a very wise person. Amudaha, such a gachanti padam avyayam tat. Gachanti means what? He goes. So gachanti means he goes to that particular abode, or he becomes that Brahman by which he doesn't come back. So these qualities are already said in previous chapters. You already know about it. He is reiterating again because we would have forgotten what is. And the chapter so we would have forgotten in so many other chapters we talked about all the qualities given, correct? There are 32 qualities given by Arjuna, by Krishna. And he's repeating here the same thing again to say that yes, we need to develop these qualities and you have to work on it. Unless you work on the qualities, unless you develop these qualities, it is difficult for you to come out of samsara. So it's not saying that you must not develop this. Narayana, what they will say, let me go and develop these qualities first. Then I'll come and study Shastra. No. You have to do this simultaneously together. Because unless you know what is nirmana moha, how will you go and develop the qualities? See, only if the guru tells you, a teacher tells you that this nirmana moha means what? Manam apamanam. Correct. Mana apamana yoho. Means manam and apamanam, the person is same. Whether he gets insulted, whether he gets praised, he doesn't get reaction. So nirmana moha. Nirmanam and amoham. The person who doesn't have any moham. So all these are qualities required to be developed. Is it clear? Anyone has got any questions in today's class? Shrikantji, you're okay? You're able to follow?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So we have to tick the box. How many qualities we have and how far we are there. So it's difficult to find out, but you will yourself know. See, because you are the best judge yourself where you are. So some people say, I'm just slowly starting, sir. So just starting to sink in. Sinking means sinking can take a lot of time. You can take, some people sink very quickly. Some people sink slowly. So it depends upon how, sinking happens. So you have to, but still make an effort to slowly absorb things, implement things, and practice it. So it is not enough to just study. One has to work hard to implement it. See, sometimes even because we are living in an objective world, it is difficult to implement all these things simultaneously. Sometimes anger will come. Sometimes irritation will come. But then you understand it, you overcome it. Next time you become less responsive to that. So slowly you become a better person over a period of time. And that is what is talked about here. So with this verse, we will actually take a break from Vedanta, from our Bhagavad Gita class, and we will reconvene after the Vijayadashami, which is, I don't know when it is, probably the 27th or something. I'll tell you the date. I think as soon as it finishes, one of the days, that week will start. Is it okay? So use the time effectively for making your notes, revisiting all the 14 chapters you studied so far. Because quite a bit of notes will be there, quite a bit of points will be there to ponder about. You can use that time effectively to go through that. And if you've got any questions or anything, you are more than welcome to ask me. Then I'm happy to explain what is required to be done there. So with this, yes sir.
Monday, Wednesday class is on, right?
Okay. Monday, next week class is on. Next Friday onwards, next Friday Upanishad also is on. Next Friday onwards, because Sunday happens to be this class, correct? So Saturday class and Sunday class will not have it.
Okay.
So until next Friday we'll have class.
Okay.
Monday I'll complete Shivanyana Bodham. I'll complete it. There are only 3 more tattvams are there. So I'll complete Shivanyana Bodham and Shiva Puranam on Monday. Then Wednesday we have Jiva Yatra, right? That will continue. The Jiva Yatra will not be able to finish it. So we'll do that. Thursday we have already taken a break from Durga Suktam. So Durga Suktam will revisit after the Navaratris. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Tatsat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste and Shubhradri to all of you. Hari Om.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ji.